Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online SEMICHA. We're about to celebrate the special days of Yom Tov of Shavuot. Every Yom Tov has loads of mitzvahs and minhagim, some special ones, some exciting ones, and perhaps today we'll talk about one of the more famous minhagim, and we all know about the milchiks, the cheesecake, and that's a lot to be spoken about. But today we'll speak about the flowers, the trees, and the grass. That you'll see in Shulchan Aruch, there's actually 3 points here. And the question is, what is it all about? So the Ramah in Siman Tav Tzadik Dalet Seif Gimel writes, Noyagim l'shtoyach asavim b'shavuos b'veis hakneses. It is customary to spread some grass, asavim, out in the shuls on Shavuos, v'habatim, out in your home also some grass, zeicher l'simchas matan Torah, as a commemorance of the simcha of Matan Torah. The Birkei Yosef actually writes that this custom was such a funny custom and such a common accepted custom amongst Klal Yisrael that when Haman went to Achashverosh and said, Chas v'shalom, let's get rid of the Jews, they do some weird, strange things, so he brought this as an example. He says, there's the same shaynes, they have strange customs. You know that they put grass out in their shuls on Yom Tov, on Shavuos. The Levush, however, says that the time for the minig of the Asavim is to remember Saviv Har Sinai, what Shas Matan Torah, what Har Sinai looked like, as the pasuk says, Gamatzoim v'habakar al yiru. The pasuk says that Hashem said, make sure that the animals don't eat from the grass around the har, and it's obvious that there must have been some grass there. So as a zeicher for that, it's Simchas Matan Torah. But that's torn beer, as we say. You need an explanation because the Har Sinai had grass. Especially, it doesn't say don't let them graze on the mountain. It says El Mula Harahu. It doesn't clearly say the mountain had grass. And what point does that teach us? That therefore, because there was grass, bring some hasavim in your home and in your shul. Especially, there are much greater miracles that took place by Har Sinai, and yet we don't make any zeicher about it. The Chazal tell us that any sick person became healed. A tremendous miracle, tremendousness. There's no zeicher about that. So what's unique about the grass that grew around or on Har Sinai? The Yavit says, again, similar to that halacha, that time, that Har Sinai was green, Simchas Matan Torah Zeicher. The Chidushei Rim takes another angle. His angle is, Moshe Rabbeinu was born, we know, Zayin Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu was born on Zayin Adar, and the story, as it's mentioned in the Chumash, is 3 months later, as it wasn't able to, Yocheved wasn't able to hide him anymore. It was known to everybody that she's pregnant, and then there was the Gzeira, so she had to hide Moshe, and she put him in the water. 3 months after Zayin Adar is Zayin Sivan, which is the day of Shavuos. So we commemorate that she put him in the water on Zayin Sivan. And Moshe Rabbeinu, by the edge of the water there's always grass, and Moshe Rabbeinu obviously was saved b'schus haTorah. So the standing of the water at the edge of at the grass at the edge of the water b'schus haTorah, that's why you spread grass out in the house or in shul on Shavuos. There are other reasons that it's zeicher l'bikurim, that the bikurim that you brought in Shavuos was also placed in a nice, put together nicely with grass all around. Some other reasons too, but there's something that deserves an explanation. It seems to be so secondary to what we're talking about. We're talking about Matan Torah. What's the point of celebrating this with these spreading of the grass? Now that's the first item, grass. The Magen Avraham goes on to say it is customary to bring trees into the house, into the home, and into shul on Yom Tov. And the Magen Avraham says, what's the reason for the trees? You should remember that on Atzeres, on Shavuos, the Chazal tell us that Atzeres is the Rosh Hashanah for Elon, for peiros, for fruits. That's when Hashem judges which tree will produce fruit. So for us to daven on their behalf, bring trees into the home, into shul. Others already comment, based on this, make sure that the trees you bring have fruit. Because the whole thing is, only a fruit-bearing tree needs a tefillah. If it's a tree that doesn't produce fruit anyways, there is no inyan in the tree. This also deserves an explanation. We go through the Mishnah and we speak about all the different Rosh Hashanim. We don't find that on Pesach you daven for Tevuah, even though the Pesach is a time when the world gets judged for wheat. What's unique specifically about Shavuot that we symbolize it by bringing a tree and we bring for peiros? It seems again also to be extra. On top of that, we know the machlokes, the different opinions, if it looks close enough to Rachmana litzlan what Goyim do in their churches, and the Gra was actually mevatel this whole minig. But what's the hidden reason behind this? The Maharil brings a third custom: grass, trees. The Maharil brings, perhaps you should also bring roses on Shavuos, because in different communities they still have it. They cover the Sefer Torah with roses, because the Chazal tell us that every dibur that Eibush said b'shas matan Torah, a special great smell entered into the world, and that's the roses that we bring to show the Sefer Torah has this great pleasant smell. The Bnei Yisachar brings that the Medrash says that the Yidden are compared to the rose. There's many thorns all around, and the one little rose is what saves the whole world. Again, that seems to be something, a side point. What is this emphasis that we do so much in these three things? And you could actually clearly separate them in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, how the Alter Rebbe sets up the halacha. There's something about asavim, about grass. There's something about trees, and then later on he speaks about something about besamim, a good smelling scent. What is this point? So perhaps you could say like this: they all teach us the same thing. The pasuk tells us, "Rakishama lecha shmor nafshecha ma'oid, pentishkachas advarim asher ro'ei einecha." We are told we must remember what Matan Torah looked like. Now this is a machlokes between the Rashi and the Ramban. What is it referring to? Is it referring to the Torah, the giving of the Torah, that the mitzvahs of the Torah have to be studied and remembered and never to forget? One of the opinions says it's not only the actual mitzvahs, that's obvious. It's actually the event, what took place, how it took place, how awesome it was. That has to be remembered forever and ever. So not only the mitzvah and the actual Torah and the uniqueness of how Yidden behave, but the Ma'amid Har Sinai, how it looked and how it was done, that is also something that teaches us a tremendous lesson, and that is included in what the Chazal tell us, Rakishama lecha ushmori nafshecha. Very, very important for you to remember it. Why? We see this point also in the Haggadah. Ilu kirvanu lufnei hasinai v'lenaslanos haTorah. So we all know that there's hundreds of questions, hundreds of answers. What does it mean just to come to Har Sinai and not to get Torah? What's the gain with that? What are we gaining by standing in front of a har? So again, there is something unique only about the Ma'amid Har Sinai, just being there with the tremendous giluyim that took place there, on top, of course, of the Nesinas HaTorah. There's something great about it. What is it? So perhaps the lessons in all these three things they have one common denominator. And that is, it's teaching us not only, on top of everything we know, that that the Torah has to be given, and the Torah is supposed to be acquired in a way that every Yid is proud, standing tall like a mountain, at the same time being Har Sinai. Har Sinai is the most humble mountain, and the most humble act, and the Torah only enters a person when he's Ba'anova. But there is another point. The point is, you're studying, you have the pride of Torah, and you have the Anova. But you have to know that there is a concept of a Mokim Torah. The place means a lot. Wherever you turn in Mishnayos and Gemara, it's always referred to Sinai, Bahar Sinai. It doesn't necessarily always say Moshe Kibel Torah me'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There is something you learn about Sinai, Har Sinai, the mountain, the Anava. And this is also stressed with the flowers, the grass, and the scent from the Shoshanim. The common denominator they have is they are all tzemeach. They're all growing, a growing thing. One thing that they're different than a medaber and a chai is a chai could grow up, he's educated, he's growing in his parents' home, and eventually, as he goes older, he goes mature, if he likes it or not, he could choose to leave. He's not mechuber to his shirish, to his root. He doesn't necessarily always have to be mechuber to his shirish. A diamond, you chop a stone in half, you put one stone here and another stone miles away. A tzaymeach, a living thing, the only way it continues to grow, a growing thing, a tree, grass, is only if it's mechuber, only if it's connected. If you cut the grass, if you cut the tree, you cut the thing, the flower, the rose, if you cut it, it's over. That perhaps is the lesson that from all these three ideas. That a yid, on top of choosing a Matan Torah, on top of learning, on top of having a nova, on top of being proud that he's Jewish, he always has to be mechuber to the shirish, always has to be connected to a root, and he always has to find a makim, a mayan shel Torah, a strong well, and find a place to be connected to, find a rebbe to have a connection with. And yes, sometimes the connection might be very far, but it still must be connected. There's a famous verse from the Kotzker Rebbe that he says, "Have a goyla l'mekayim Torah." You always have to be in a Makom Torah, but perhaps where you're going, you have to make that the Makom Torah. You have to be connected and bound with a Makom Torah, with a Rebbe, with a connection, and only then we have the true Chayis va'atam adveikim b'Hashem alekeichem chayim kulchem hayom.